So you want to build a skyscraper? Great. Here's what you gotta do. Step 1. Planning and preparation. You may have been a pro at building block towers back in preschool, but building a modern skyscraper is going to need a little forward planning. For that, you're going to need to understand engineering, physics, and modern building techniques. Or you can just hire an architect who will make sure your skyscraper design won't collapse in on itself or get blown over in high winds. Once you've settled on your shiny new plans, it's time to settle on a location. Step 2. Surveying. Ever seen workers in high-vis vests standing on the side of a road looking through a gadget on a tripod? No, they aren't photographers. These guys are surveyors, and they're checking things like ground elevation, property boundaries, and making sure the plans will fit on the allocated land. But it's not just above ground that things need to be checked. A geological survey is also performed to map the ground beneath where your skyscraper is being built. Using drills and specialized imaging equipment, engineers can create a detailed 3D image of the soil and bedrock below. Step 3. Lay the foundation. As a general rule, the heavier a building is, the bigger the foundation it needs to have to be structurally sound. Being the largest type of building in the world, a skyscraper's foundation is absolutely massive, and it uses some pretty cool engineering techniques to ensure stability. They start by drilling a series of holes deep into the ground and then filling those holes with rebar reinforced concrete to create piles. So how deep are these holes anyway? Well, with most skyscrapers, you're digging until you hit the firm base of subterranean bedrock. On average, that's about 30 feet straight down, but that distance can vary from a few feet all the way to non-existent. Like the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, when engineers did their geological survey, they were shocked to find nothing but sand for thousands of feet below the surface. Without bedrock, the Burj Khalifa would likely end up sinking into the sand or tilting. To get around this, engineers had to drill much deeper than is normally required. Instead of the average 30 feet, the Burj Khalifa sits on reinforced concrete piles of up to 262 feet deep. Step 4. The slab. The next step involves creating a solid base connected to all the concrete piles we just poured. In most cases, it's a single thick sheet of concrete on top of which everything else is built. In the case of the Burj, the slab took the form of a matted, reinforced concrete design that acts as a raft on top of the ever-moving sand. Step 5. Steel framework. With the groundwork laid, it's time to test out that crippling fear of heights. Cue the tower cranes, goods elevators, and wolf whistles from your construction crew as you construct a lattice of high-tensile steel girders and intricate framework. It's now that you're starting to see the bones of your skyscraper come together. But just remember, for every few floors you build up, you've got a new concrete floor to pour and then wait to dry. As you build higher and higher, you're starting to notice it's getting a little windy up there. Hopefully your architect finished college and remembered to include aerodynamic elements in the skyscraper's design, things like rounded edges and natural voids for high winds to travel through. Okay, step 6, windows and exterior walls. We start step 6 about halfway through step 5, and for very good reason. Once your building starts creeping towards the stratosphere, it's now exposed to the elements. Ask any builder, a wet worksite is an absolute nightmare. From mold to materials corrosion, it's always better to have your construction site clean and dry. That's why, as soon as practically possible, the exterior shell of the skyscraper should start being assembled from the ground floor up. Step 7. Topping off. So, we've just finished building the 66th floor frame, and the exterior walls crew is a few floors below us, trying desperately to get the job done before Christmas. At this point, your skyscraper needs a roof, something to connect and tether the vertical support beams to. A final concrete slab or cap is poured on the roof in a process known as topping off. All we have to do now is wait for the exterior walls crew to reach the top before starting our final step. Alrighty, we're finally there. Step 8. Finishing touches. Right now we have a structurally sound skyscraper that looks great from the outside, but inside the newly constructed shell is nothing more than an unusable construction site. Our last step, and often one that takes the longest, is our building's finishing touches. This includes drywalling, electrical and plumbing, carpeting, fixtures, communications, and building management systems. Once you're done, it's time to book out that top floor penthouse, kick back in a bathrobe, and enjoy the view while watching more Tube videos. Subscribe if you enjoyed this, and see you soon.